All right, Brent. I need you.
Creating leakage over here.
Oh, we're gonna have a mess because you didn't help me.
There's you already. Have a mess. Well, that was pointless.
Well, I was asking for help.
You couldn't wait.
I couldn't because the pen was falling down.
Be patient.
What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for tuning into the Rolling Times today. I apologize. I know it sounds like we got a monsoon going right now, but I assure you it's just a mild drizzle on a tin roof. In today's video, we have a, what is this? 2008 Honda Element, and we're going to be changing out the oil pan and oil pan gasket. We got our new pan here. New pan gasket. Honda says you got to drop the entire subframe out to do this job. We're going to try and shortcut this here so we don't have to drop that entirely out. Don't be afraid. I know the subframe sounds like a job a lot of people that don't like. That's kind of, okay, I'll do some brakes, but I'm not dropping the subframe. Draw the line there. This motor, the 2.4, is supported by a passenger side engine mount, and then there's a driver side trans mount that's going to hold the motor up. There is a front mount that's connected to the subframe. We'll have to unbolt that. What I'm going to try and do is just loosen up the subframe and take the front bolts out, drop it far enough down that we can get access to the oil pan bolts and make room for it to drop out of there. The only thing I'm worried about is depending where the pickup tube is in the oil pan, we might need a little bit more clearance to get the pan out of there. First thing you guys want to do, get the car supported on some jack stands. If you're able to drain the oil, drain the oil. In our case, we can't because the drain bolt was ran in with an impact and we can't get it out, and that's hence why we're replacing the pan.
Can we drill a hole in it?
We could drill a hole, but I'm just gonna lower the pans like slowly and probably make
Create a mess.
Yeah.
Got it.
Once you have it jacked up, take the wheels off. It is a good idea to crack the lug nuts loose before you jack it up if you don't have air tools. And then we're going to move on to this front piece I already removed. It's just a plastic trim piece. There are two 10mm bolts, and they're in the front there. Sits like this, and a bunch of pop clips. And then you have some pop clips on the side that go up into the fender liner as well. Once you have that out of there, next thing is this front motor mount. You see I already have it unbolted. It's a 17mm bolt. The other side I believe is a 19mm nut, but it usually has one of them catch. I don't know where I put it. Here it is. Actually, I think they're both 17s, but it has a catch here, so you can just spin this out. I was actually able to get the 1/2-inch impact up in there to loosen it, and then I just spun it out the rest of the way by hand. Once you have that out, you have 4 subframe bolts, one in each corner. So what I did was I slowly loosened all 4 of them up. If it's your first time messing around with a subframe, might be a good idea. Just throw a jack under here, just so in case you take the bolts all the way out, it don't come crashing down. It really shouldn't though, because the control arms and the struts and everything are going to hold it somewhat up. But once I loosened everything up, then I slowly just took the front bolts out, and you can see we have a good amount of clearance here that we didn't have before. The hardest ones to get are going to be these ones on the passenger side of the motor. Over here on the transmission side, there is a dust cover for the flex plate. You'll want to remove that. It's 3 10mm bolts. There's one here, there, and there. Once you have that out, it'll make it easier to get these driver side oil pan bolts. And then you're just going to work your way around. They're all 10mm. You get over these passenger side bolts near the serpentine belt, it's going to be easier to get them in through the wheel. She's free. All right, Brandy. I need you.
Creating leakage over here.
Oh, we're gonna have a mess because you didn't help me.
There's you already? Have a mess.
Man, that oil is black. We got the oil pan out of the way now. Just went around, cleaned up the surface of the block here. It looks like they used RTV before, so I'm gonna go around, scrape all that stuff off. But once everything's cleaned up and we're ready to put the new pan on, where this timing cover meets the block, you can see there's you can kind of feel where it meets there. There's a little seam on both sides. This one's hard to see, the belt's in the way. But you're going to want to put a little dab of RTV on those seams if you're using regular gasket. Right here's a good example of what we want to clean off of there. See this old RTV? Using even new RTV, but using a oil pan gasket on here, if that stuff gets in between it, that's going to cause an oil leak. So we want it nice and clean like this section is here all the way around. And you can just use some emery cloth, Scotch-Brite, even like a gasket scraper. Personally, I find the best tool for cleaning up everything is usually a woman, because they like cleaning stuff. Isn't that right, Brandy?
I like when you help me clean.
I like when you just do the cleaning. And I don't have to clean anything.
Just work on cars, and then I'll just sit there and help.
Well, right, but you're cleaning. Come on, it was a joke. You're supposed to laugh.
I'm not laughing at that.
Brandy likes turning the wrenches just as much as she likes cleaning.
I think I like turning wrench more.
So why do you clean all the time?
Because nobody else does.
What do you mean?
I'm getting oil all over me.
One thing I like to do before putting the oil pan and gasket back up in the car, take something, a lot of times a little Christmas tree, like push pin clips work pretty good. I just take whatever's laying around, push it up through the pan, and push the gasket down onto it like that, and that'll help keep your gasket lined up while you're getting the pan in the car. Then once you get a couple bolts in, you can remove and pull these out. This is going to be probably the trickiest part. You're going to want to get your oil pan. We You're gonna have to pull down on the subframe a little bit.
Here.
Where are we getting stuck on?
This. Hey. Oh, get it around that last thing. There you go. Now your gasket fell in. There's the gasket.
You got one of the nuts.
The nuts?
Mm-hmm.
I have a nut.
They're all the same.
These aren't the same. You got 2 longer ones. 3 longer ones.
Wasn't completely wrong. There are 3 bolts here that are a little bit longer than the rest. Generally with oil pan bolts, the longer bolts are going to be the ones threaded in the timing cover. I wasn't paying attention when I took them out because I thought they were all the same, but we have 3 bolts left here. They all go in the timing cover, so that's where we're going to stick these longer 3. If you're ever not sure, just thread them all the way in by hand and make sure they go all the way in. The last thing you want to do is run a bolt in that's too long with an impact gun, because that's how you break stuff. Spec for the oil pan bolts is 104 inch-pounds, or about 10 foot-pounds. You want to go in a crisscross pattern, and one thing that's important to do, make sure you get all the bolts started before you start tightening any of them down. Then you want to just kind of, I'm sure Honda probably has a specific pattern to tighten them, but what I normally do is just start at the inside middle, go across, and then kind of crisscross and work your way all the way around. And then when I'm done, I just go around and check the torque on all of them. I go all the way around to make sure I didn't miss any. Now that we got the oil pan back in there, the next part is going to be putting the subframe back in. We're going to get the jack on the subframe to help lift it up, put the bolts in, go around, tighten up all 4 subframe bolts, and then that front motor mount, we can put our plastic back in, fill it with oil, and
put our wheels back on.
Done. When you are putting the subframe back up, just pay attention to this front mount. I had an issue. It didn't slide into the slot right, so I actually had to drop the subframe, the front of it, down again and line everything back up. So just pay attention to that while you're bringing the subframe back up. All we got to do yet is put our flywheel cover, or flex plate cover, change that oil filter and this front plastic and fill it with oil.
Torque them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish somebody would donate me a new garage and a couple lifts. What are you doing?
I put my thumbs up over the thumb up.
Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If it helped you out, please help me out by leaving a like, dropping a subscription, turn that bell notification on, and let me know what you guys are working on down in the comments. Let me know if there's any specific stuff you guys would like to see. Take it easy.